Hello everyone, my name is Michael and welcome to the 5th video in this Reactjs tutorial series. In this video we will go through state and the life cycle, and I'm going to build an example which will be a ticking clock. So using this example I'll go through the state and life cycle. So yeah, with that said, let's get into the video. Great, so let's start by creating a new component which will be our clock. And I'll be using everything we have learned from the previous video, so have that in mind. So let's go on components, let's delete the number because we will not use that anymore, and let's leave it empty here. Great, so let's go on components, create a new file, name it clock.js, and here we will create a new function called clock, which basically will be our component. And have in mind, in this tutorial series I'll be using hooks and not classes, and I'll be using hooks because it's the newer version on React.js, and now every developer is transitioning from class to hooks. So yeah, I think it's more important you first learn about hooks, and then maybe in the future you can also learn about classes. If you don't know what I mean by hooks, basically the difference is for hooks you use a function right here, but for classes it's a bit more complex, I can say, so it's even harder. And for classes, basically instead of function we would have used this one right here. So class clock extends react.component, and yeah, it is a little bit more complex, I can say. So that's why I recommend learning hooks first, which is the function instead of class. So yeah, let's continue with that. So on clock, what we will do is pass props, because it will be just a component. We will not update the clock, the time inside of our component, but we will update it through our app.js. So let's continue. Now we will return, and we will return on h1 tag, and it will say the time is, and then from props we will open first double brackets and we will put props and then dot time, and we will pass the time. Okay, now let's continue. Let's export it, so we will do default export in the name of the function, so that will be clock. And for some reason it gives me an error, for some reason it doesn't like it, maybe it has to do, yeah, export default. Okay, a slight mistake right there, so it says export default. And now let's go back to our app.js, and we will first import our clock. So we will do import clock from, and then we will navigate to the clock path, so /components and then /clock. You don't have to put the .js ending. Even if you put just the name of it, it will work just fine. Now we can take the clock, we can create a new tag with the name clock and close it immediately. And I'm going to show you in the future how you can create components similar to div, so they can accept children inside of them, but we will go through that in the future. So clock, like we said, takes a prop called time, so let me give it that. So we will do time equal to JavaScript, and then we will do new date, which basically gives us date, and then we will do dot to local time string, and we will basically get the time. Now let me click on terminal, new terminal, and then let's do npm run start to run our app. And there we go. So it captured the time, but as you will see, it's not updating in lifetime. So it just stuck on 4:21:33. So what I have to do to see the updated time is that I have to refresh my page. As you'll see, every time I refresh, it updates the time. But how can we do that so the user don't have to refresh the page, but the time refreshes immediately? So for that, first of all, before we go on that, I'm going to go through the state, and let me show you what that is. So state is similar to props, but it is private and fully controlled by the component. So in our case, we will use the state in our app.js. which is also a component, and the state it's only controlled by the component. We cannot control app.js state through clock. Only the component that stores that state has access to it and it can control it. We can still though use the state by passing it as a prop in other components. But yeah, I don't want to confuse you, so let me show you an example. So to use a state, first of all we have to do import React from React, and then we want to import one more thing, so we will do comma, then on inside of brackets we will get the use state. There we go. Now next, to create a new state, all we have to do is define two things. So okay, there we go. So we will define the time inside of an array, so we give it the value name we will be using, and then here we are defining the name of the function we will use to change this value right here, and I'm going to explain that in a bit. Then we do that equal to the use state, and we are using the use state function from React, and whatever we put inside of use state, and we can put just nothing, that works as well. If we put nothing, this value will be undefined because we haven't declared anything. But if we put something right here, whatever we put here is represented by this value right here. So this is called the default state, and like the name says, it acts as a default state. So basically it works the same like let time equal to new date. This is the default state of this variable, and this one works the same for time. So let me delete that. What I can do instead now is use time inside of here, and now if I open the browser, it works, it's the same. So I can refresh and it will update the time. Again, it doesn't do that automatically yet. Now to do that automatically, what we will use is a function from React, which we will import as well, called use effect. And let me give you an example first before I explain what it does. Okay, so there is an example right here. So this is how we run the use effect. So we say use effect, we open it, and we pass some parameters. So first of all, we pass the callback. So whenever the use effect runs, what to do. Okay, so basically what the use effect does, it checks if a value which we will put inside of this array is updated. So whenever the value is updated, this callback runs. And let me give you an example. So in our case, we will use the new date, and here what the use effect will basically do is every time the new date is updated, and that's basically every millisecond that passes, the new date updates. So every time this variable updates, it will run this callback. One thing I forgot to mention is that if you leave this array empty, then this use effect, it will run only when the page is firstly visited. So whenever you visit the page or whenever you refresh the page, this use effect will run, but it only runs once, it will not run again. And inside of this callback, what we can do in our case is use the set time. So let's go back to the use state, and inside of this set time, we will put the new value we want time to equal to. So we will pass the new date. So basically what happens here is we declare a new variable in React, and then we use effect to check if a certain variable is updated. It doesn't have to be a variable because new date isn't a variable, but it's basically an input. So it checks whatever we have inside of this array if it is updated. And then every time this is updated, and it's basically every millisecond or something like that, this callback runs. And basically here we have what we do on the callback is we update time using the set time, and whatever we put on the set time, it's the new value it will be used for time. Now if I go back to my React app, there you go. So you see, without refreshing my page, the time is updated, and there you go. So let's do a quick recap of what we did. So first of all, we created a new component called clock, and it basically returns an h1 tag, and it also uses a prop called time, and it says the time is and the time it will get from the prop. Then we imported this component and we used it in our app.js file, and basically what we do here is pass it a prop called time, as we have set it here, and we pass it here the time we use from the use state, and then we turn that to local time string, which basically takes a date and it gives us the time. Then up here we have defined a variable called time, and we have set a default time right here, default state, and then we have used our useEffect function, which basically checks if the new date is updated, and every time that is updated, which is basically every millisecond or something like that, pretty fast, it runs a callback, and inside the callback what we do is update the time using the setTime function with our new date right here, with a new value. So that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this video and this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments and I will help you as fast as possible. Also hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification as well, so you don't miss my next video on handling events and also list and keys. So yeah, see you in the next video.